All right, episode 8. Here we are. Nick's game changer, Byron Lazine, the legend.
I don't know about that. I feel honored to be on the Game Changer, man.
This is it's great to have you here. You're a busy guy.
No, thank you.
And
not as busy as you.
No, I don't know about that. But so I know that we both share a lot of things in common,
Yeah.
including a love for the real estate business. And you are a real estate agent, great marketer, social media expert, guru, among other things. So maybe you could just tell the folks listening or watching a little bit about yourself, and we're going to jump right into the questions after that.
Yeah, I mean, real estate agent, that's my number one source right there. See how I did that? My number one
Your number
source.
one source. I like that.
And, but really, over the years, what's made me an effective real estate agent is the ability to brand and market, right? Mm-hmm. And that's kind of where we have a marketing company. Nicole White's been on the podcast, right?
Nicole's been on, yeah.
So Nicole's, integral partner in both of those, and one in company and in company cubed. And the marketing was really just born out of our ability to do branding and marketing at a ridiculous scale and in a current environment for our real estate clients, which for us happens to be either new development or homeowners on the resale. Really, majority for the team is homeowners, working directly with people that need to buy, sell, or invest. And so, we can get into some of that stuff. I got into real estate when I was 19, making a lot of mistakes on my own. Realized after really making all the mistakes in the book that I should have started on the sales side, and so the last 7-8 years on the sales side have really been a game changer for me.
Yeah.
Dude. So
you're really on your game today.
yeah, I know.
See that?
That's
good.
Look at that. Got one source in there and a game changer all in the beginning.
Do you work multi-state? Do you work
Licensed Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and now Florida.
Oh wow! Congratulations.
Yeah, I
Good
just
for
got
you.
my brokers a couple weeks ago. Actually,
Nice.
in Florida. I didn't post it. So this is actually the first time, I think, except for my Instagram handle, I snuck it in there on the bio. But I think this is the first time I've publicly even said I've got the Florida brokers. So there's some things coming with that.
Good. That's exciting. Yeah.
It is.
I love that you're very strategic, from what I think, or maybe you've trained yourself to become strategic. As you mentioned, starting out 19 years old in the real estate business, kind of learning by doing, making mistakes along the way. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to jump right into the first question and learn a little bit more about you as we go. So the first question is, why do you do what you do?
Whew, that's a little
It's broad.
loaded. What do
Yeah,
you do?
it's loaded.
Why do I do what I do?
What you do.
I mean, I'll go back to like our core belief with the team here, the real estate team, be the hardest working team. And then, our that's our mission statement, rather than our, core value to that is get a little bit better today than you were yesterday. Mm-hmm. And so I wake up every single day with that in mind. Can I get a little bit better at everything that I'm doing, not just in my business, but in my life today than I was yesterday? Jim Rohn said it a different way. Jim Rohn used to say, work harder on yourself than you do on your job.
I like that.
If you continue to improve yourself incrementally day after day after day, everything around you is going to happen the way you want it to, whether it's business, relationships, or whatever. So I wake up with that mindset first. How can I put myself in position to not only be better at what I'm doing, but to impact the people that are, on my team, working with me, and my family, to really get better in their lives? And so that's what's driving me. And obviously this is planet Earth. I say this all the time. Hey, I don't know if you guys know of another planet where you don't need money, but here on Earth, after air, it's the second most important thing.
Right.
You need air, and money's actually over water, because that's how you buy the good water, if you haven't figured that out. So it's like, that's obviously an important component to everything that we do. Like we've got to make money to actually enjoy the life that we want, but that comes second to working on yourself every day.
Sure. And working on yourself correlates to your business and your career.
Yeah, I mean, how can I put myself in a position to actually improve, to be in a growth mindset, to learn from all those people around me? Like I want to continuously, whether it's my mastermind or the internal team that we have on both the real estate and the marketing side, I want to continue to surround myself with people that are doing or at a much higher level than I am in all areas, right? And so that's how I'm going to be able to pull knowledge more efficiently at a rapid rate, as opposed to me just trying to figure out everything on my own. Those are the mistakes I made. I bought 3 houses 19 to 21. And tried to do it all on my own. Didn't listen to real estate agents. Didn't listen to my parents. Didn't listen to anybody. Just went out there like a freaking renegade, and that's how you fail, right? Everybody's done everything I'm trying to do. Okay. It's all been done before.
Correct.
I just need to see around the corner and what's going to be the most innovative way to do it in 2020.
Right. And I think from listening to some of your podcasts and seeing some of your, videos on social media, the real estate business is changing rapidly.
Yeah, there's no question.
And I think that you've been pretty good at identifying what the new trends are, asking the tough questions, looking at maybe what other realtors are doing, not for any other reason than saying, what can we learn? What can we do differently? And how can we serve our customer better? Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in a mastermind with 9 people, and I am number 9 on the totem pole. Well, maybe I'm like number 7, but I like saying I'm number 9 better. But anyways, we're in terms of numbers, in terms of production. 5, 6, 7 of these people in the mastermind are head and heels above where I am. Not even close, right? And so I want to be learning from those that are really doing something. Now, we all have different business models at the same time, right? Some of them have built up these numbers off of paying Zillow a much larger, investment each month than I'm willing to pay Zillow, because we're investing in content and podcasts and all this kind of, branding and building our brand locally. But there's still a lot to be learned from their model. And when we're using Zillow as a lead pillar, what are they doing? And just learning from each other. There's stuff that, they wouldn't have me in the mastermind if I wasn't sharing either.
Sure.
Right. But I also don't want to be in a mastermind where I'm only teaching. I'm there to learn.
Got it. One of the questions I have, just as I'm listening to you talk, just about talking about real estate and learning from others, what do you think about the Connecticut real estate market and certain segments of the market? I mean, obviously, you must be optimistic or bullish on it based on the fact that you work here. But you mentioned Florida, you mentioned Rhode Island.
I'll say this: I'm born and raised here in Connecticut, so that. Certainly if you were looking at a map logically, right? And this is, I just say things the way they are, whether my clients are going to love this or not. But when you look at the map logically and you say, okay, if I'm going to start a real estate business today, knowing what I know now and not having an emotional attachment or a family attachment to any place, Connecticut probably doesn't make the most sense to do that. Right. Our turnover rate is lower than other places. If you look at Florida, for example, and some of the communities that I'm passionate about in Florida, the turnover rate is rapid, right? You've got people obviously migrating down there, where we're in Connecticut, for example, losing population.
Correct.
Right. So you have that to the benefit, but also all those people that might be from Ohio or Connecticut or Massachusetts or wherever, when they get down there, they've lived like I have in their state their whole life, most likely.
Correct.
Right? Maybe even the same neighborhood.
Right.
Now they're going for a new change of life. It's a lifestyle decision. And they get to, maybe they buy into a community that they've stayed in the past, right?
Right.
So they know they like it, but vacation liking it and living liking it. Two different things, right? But they still like Florida, but now they just realize, I didn't want this community. I want the next community down. So within the first 2 years, a lot of these people are now buying and selling again.
Got it.
So you get them on the transaction, as a Florida agent, on their initial on the way down there. If you do a good job as an agent, you get them, and 2 years later.
Right.
And then here's the other thing. the age demo's a little higher, people are dying all the time. Like the turnover.
Yeah, right.
It's so Connecticut doesn't make sense in that same fashion. But like anything else, there's more agents in those marketplaces in Florida, right? If you, New York City or LA, there's going to be more agents. There's going to be harder competition, quite frankly. And I'm not putting competition down here in Connecticut, but we have less agents, so we have less great agents.
Right.
And it's a smaller pond, right? And so my family's passionate about being here. That's not going to change. We're going to be here really for a long time. And I see that there are opportunities in Connecticut when everybody is pumping out negative propaganda and everything is just negative when you listen to the radio or you read the papers. And I'm not sitting here trying to say like it's all roses in Connecticut. There are obvious issues. But if we only talk about the negative, the positive never comes to light. And there are certain things that you can't dispute about this location that are not replicatable in other parts of the country. Whether whether you're passionate about the seasons, whether you want to be like we're sitting here in on the shoreline in Connecticut. Can get to Massachusetts in or Boston in less than 2 hours. Can get to New York in an hour and a half.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't replicate that too many places.
I know. Yeah.
So there's huge advantages to being here.
Yeah.
And California is one of the most fond places people want to be. Well, you're paying 50% taxes. You have ridiculously high property taxes.
Right.
You pay for what you get. Yeah, Connecticut has high property taxes. But I'd rather be here than, we mentioned Ohio earlier. I'll pick on them. Ohio.
Than Ohio.
Right?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, that's good. So your business is obviously very competitive, and you've talked about a couple different things. Your mastermind group for one, but do you have one mentor in particular?
I would say multiple mentors.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think
how they helped you.
So I think it's important. People use the mentor word and it's like, do I get a mentor? How do I get a mentor? All this kind of stuff. I think you want multiple mentors. Certainly if you're brand new to real estate, you might just want one in the beginning. So you're not hearing too many voices. But as you get your feet under you in any industry or whatever your thing is, pulling from, if you have the base of your core values that you're not going to shift from, having a taste of 3, 4, 5 different mentors that you can spend time with and pull from their experiences is going to be invaluable. It's going to be a way to get better every single day, to see around those corners. Who specifically? I mean, I'm a big believer in coaching. I actually pay for real estate coaches.
Okay.
So we, that's part of the Tom Ferry organization we do. So Tom personally is a mentor to me. Our coach, Jason Ferris, he's one of my mentors. Even, I would consider my mastermind to some degree. I mean, we're all peers, but we're mentoring each other on a call every single day. In fact, I'm flying out. Sam's coming next week to California, and we're going to meet. We're going to sit at Tom's office. Tom's a mentor for all of us, right in Irvine, California.
Yeah.
We're going to spend 8 hours picking apart each other's businesses, where we're looking at, opportunities in 2020, what he sees as one of our mentors and somebody that we're all looking up to in the industry, the conversations he's having with, CEOs of these big, VC funded companies that are coming into real estate that are cutting down the margin. Like, what do you see with that in 2020? And so that's going to be a valuable experience. We get together face to face, try to once every couple months. We're all in different states. Right. So but there's enough opportunities to do that. And so, it's spending time, making the calls, being consistent. Our mastermind's consistent every Thursday at 10:30. We're on a call.
Yeah. So it's accountability too, being held accountable.
Yeah. I mean, in fact, I got invited into the mastermind that I'm in, maybe a year ago, and they had somebody in there before me that they kicked out, because, we're making commitments to each other. I'm gonna work on recruiting this many people. My goal is to get my numbers to X level, right? And if you don't do it, then the rest of the group feels like I can't learn from you.
Right.
You're not now. Everybody falls short on some business goals, but if you're not being accountable to the goals and don't have a reason why you fell 10% short,
Right.
we don't need you in this group, and they just threw them out, right?
Wow.
And so we are pretty intense on learning and growing.
Good. That's a good answer. So want to move on to the next question. What behavior, habit, or ritual can you not live without, and why?
That's easy. My morning routine. So I'm 5 a.m. We were really, I'd say 3 years ago, me and a couple guys, I shared a struggle I was having, right? I said, hey, when I first started sales and real estate, I was so determined to make up for the mistakes that I made buying 3 houses, 19 to 21, losing everything by my mid-20s. That first year in real estate, I was waking up on fire, jumping out of bed at 4 a.m. After going to bed at like midnight for like a year straight, like 4 hours sleep. Didn't feel it at all because I was so determined to prove people wrong, to make amends for the mistakes that I had, and just get after it and show that I can do this damn thing. And I walked away from like a cushy, guaranteed job to do that. So woke up on fire. Then what happens? You have a little bit of success, right? 12, 15 months in, I realized I can make the same money I was making at the job and more. Started doing that, right? So you have a little bit level of comfort. Started getting my feet under me. I knew what I was doing a little bit. And started waking up at sporadic times, 5:30, 6, 6:30. Then like one day it was like 7 o'clock. I'm like, what am I doing here? This is insane. So I shared that with those guys. I said, could we hold each other accountable to, they had the same problem. Like they know that when they have a repeatable morning routine, they're more efficient throughout the day. So we just started by calling each other every day at 5 a.m. It was like 3 or 4 of us. We would just literally, hey, you up, you up, you up. That's all it was. And then more people wanted to join. Now there's over 1,500 people on this call.
Started by you guys.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's 5 a.m. East Coast time, so Eastern Standard Time. So there's people up and down the East Coast. I mean, this call, now it's turned into a 5-minute message. Somebody moderates every single day. It's a podcast. You could go on 5 a.m. call and find the thing and all that stuff. But there has been so many game-changing, life-changing stories that have been shared with these 5-minute messages. I mean, people sharing stories of struggles with their kids and their health and their relationships that have just been eye-opening and giving you this perspective every single day. Like if you can wake up in the morning and clear your mind, like the old game we all used to have, Etcher-Sketcher, right? And you can just clear everything out. So where you're going into your office or your place of work or your day at an absolute great level of clarity of what you have to get done, you're not only going to be just a better person to people, you're going to be more efficient in your day.
Absolutely.
And you're going to have this perspective of like, man, I got it really good when you start to put some of these struggles people are having, help them out, and then focus on what you should be grateful for.
So can anybody log into the call, into the 5 a.m. call?
It's just 5amcall.com.
5amcall.com.
Yeah.
So just for anyone listening or watching, they can subscribe.
And I don't want to push anybody to it that doesn't want to wake up at 5 a.m. The whole thing about it, and I'm just going to focus on morning routine.
Right.
You may say, listen, because sleep is dramatically important. What I was doing my first year in real estate, 4 hours sleep, is not sustainable.
Not sustainable.
It's never going to work long term. So you have to know your body. Do you get 7? Do you need 9 hours? Whatever you need, get that. And maybe for you, it's a 7 a.m. routine, right? But maybe it's the same. Like for me, it's the same thing, right? I'm going to wake up. I'm hydrating immediately with coconut water, right? I do the 5 a.m. call, right? So I'm going to jump on that Facebook page a little bit right after that, but then I'm going to the gym, right? Then I'm coming back. I'm having my protein shake. I'm having my oatmeal. Like there's just steps that I do every single day.
Yeah.
And it gets all that stuff out of the way. I don't now have to go into work thinking about, I really want to hit the gym. Should I hit the gym? Should I do it at 3:30? Will I have time at 5:30? Could I sneak it in at 7? All that is wasted energy
thinking about
on something I could have already had finished.
Correct. So that's awesome. I love it.
Morning
that's a great
routine.
answer. Morning routine. So here's another question. When you feel overwhelmed, what do you do to refocus?
Yep. So I've got two answers for this. When I'm really overwhelmed with just the macro big picture of work,
Yeah.
okay, I have got to break the pattern. So there's two pattern breaks. I've got to break the pattern immediately. For me, when it's like summer, a great way to do that is to either go hit some golf balls at the driving range, or there's a basketball court by my house, go down and just run and shoot hoops. Like, for me, that clears my mind. And when I come back to all those macro issues, that can be a little reset. People, talk about vacations. Vacations have never worked for me.
Yeah.
Because the whole vacation thing of like, when you're on vacation, like family or whatever, like that's a time to like be focused on them. So all you're doing is sliding the problems or the macro business issues off to the side.
Correct.
And immediately when you come back from vacation, they're
back
there.
again.
They are right there. So you have to address them. So I use the example of like going and taking an hour massage, golf balls, gym, whatever, to now get into a place where I can categorize these issues. Most important, here's the steps, like be thoughtful about how they're going to fit into my calendar. Once I get them time blocked into my calendar, I feel much better. Like, even if that just means meeting about strategy for this issue. Right. Like having those set, knowing I'm committed to my calendar, that's going to alleviate some of that anxiety. And then the number two way, on a micro level, right? I've been doing this a lot lately. So I wear these every single day. So if I find myself, I don't know if this ever happens to you, where I'm supposed to be answering emails, right? Or it's like, I know this is my follow-up time block, and I'm supposed to be, preparing for a podcast or whatever. And I'm supposed to be doing this thing. And then all of a sudden I find myself somehow on ESPN.com. And I'm like, how the hell did I even get here? Yeah. I don't even know how I got here. I'm like, right. Now I'm like 3 articles in on, Danny Dimes, the new Giants quarterback, and like his college years. And I'm like in this rabbit hole. So for me, I grab this little rubber band. I've got a whole bag of them from Amazon. Snap, look at my calendar. Where am I supposed to be and in go this back. Micro moment? Go back. Good. That's great. So something to reset it. I think in today's day and age, there's a lot of distraction. It's easy to find yourself, and I think people beat themselves up because they think that, well, like we all do it. No matter how busy you are, or how regimented you are, or how structured your day is. You mentioned your calendar. I live by my calendar too. And then there's things that throw you off. I mean, just to meet you here today. Here's another good one. Yeah. Todd Herman. Yep. Alter Ego. Did you read that book? No. The Alter Ego book, he talks about creating these alter egos in your life, right? So, for example, he wears glasses, okay? They're non-prescription. He wears these glasses when he's presenting, right? When he's going to do a talk. Yeah. Because instantly you see somebody like Sam's got glasses over there. He takes those things off, looks 10% dumber, immediately. No, this is from Todd Herman. This isn't from me. This is not us telling you that, This Sam. Is in the book Alter Ego. Sam, he looks great behind the camera. Let's just say that, and then someday, Sam, you can come out on this side too. There's been 10 or 15% difference. There's been studies done where people associate glasses 10, 15% smarter than I know. I've heard that. So he does that when he's presenting. When he comes home, he has a certain outfit that he will put on, and that signals I'm into kids mode. I'm going to get on the floor. I'm going to play with my kids. Right. I'm going to engage. I'm going to be fully engaged. So for me, this rubber band is almost an alter ego. It's like that. If I'm wearing this, I'm in work mode. I even told my wife about it. I'm like, hey, if I come home and I'm wearing this stupid, silly thing, it means, and my head's in my phone, it means I'm supposed to be doing work. If you walk by and I'm on ESPN.com, just smack me in the head, right? But like when I take this off and I know I've got to spend 2 hours with Stella, it's like, hey, are you spending 2 hours with Stella or are you working? 'Cause
You're working.
Your
Right.
freaking band isn't on you.
Right. Got it.
And so it's kind of just like that alter ego to remind me of where I got to be.
Sure. That's awesome. I love it. Good answer. Thank you. So you mentioned an author, but which book or author has influenced your life? And I know, is there one more than another? Or?
Yeah, I'll say Jim. I mentioned Jim Rohn earlier. Jim Rohn, Rohn. He's a 1980s guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of Tony Robbins' mentors.
Okay.
He's in that Zig Ziglar crew that whole time frame. He and then this guy Eric Thomas, who is, I guess, more of a motivator, speaker. He's written some books, but it was really a YouTube video that changed my mindset dramatically when I got into the sales side of real estate. So let me go back a little bit. I'm just going to give everyone the bullet point version here. 19 to 21, bought 3 houses, fixed them all up with my own money, renovated them, rented them out. But I made all the mistakes in the book, alluded to that earlier. I over-improved, bought in bad areas, at the top of the market or even above the market. Mm-hmm. You know, everything, mortgage crisis happens. I got 4 mortgages on 3 properties and tenants that aren't making their bills. Now I'm not making my bills. Everything comes crumbling down. I go bankrupt by my mid-20s. Okay. So when I came into real estate, unemployment was over 10% in the Obama years. And I had a job that I got, out of 2,000 applicants, 8 of us got the job.
Okay.
And it was, 6-figure job, and you had a pension, and it was a retirement job. My dad had been there 35 years, which is why I was one of the 8 people that got it. Hated it. Hated my life. Hated the job. Walked away from it to get into real estate. Mm-hmm. People thought I was nuts. Mm-hmm. No, homes weren't selling, right? It was about 60% of the homes that are selling this year that was a good year back then, right? It was almost that much, right, of a drop off. So people just thought I was absolutely insane. I found this video, came across this video somehow on YouTube, Eric Thomas, where he tells this story about this guy, the guru, who had a lot of success in business. And there was this young guy who wanted to reach massive levels of success and wealth. Mm-hmm. He says to the guru, he says, will you show me the way? And he goes, yeah, I'll show you the way. Meet me tomorrow at the beach at 5 a.m. He's like, all right, it's weird, but I'll meet you at the beach. So he shows up at the beach, suit, tie, ready to go. He wants success in his life. He wants to be dominant at business. So he sees the gurus out there at 5 a.m. swimming around the water. He's doing, the breaststroke, backstroke. He says, hey,
what are you doing?
I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm here on time.
Yeah.
Let's go. Teach me how to be successful. And so the guru says, come into the water. He's like, well,
I got a suit on. Yeah.
Goes up to the water. He says, no, you got to come further. So now he's up to like his waist. The guru says, you've got to come in further. So now he's up to like here in the water, in his suit, right? And the guru takes his head and dunks it under the water and holds his head under the water. This guy's kicking and screaming, lifts his head up, and he says, how'd you feel? He's like, thought you were a psychopath. You were trying to kill me. Like, I just wanted to breathe. And Eric Thomas in this video is talking to college kids. I think it was at Michigan State. He says, when you want to succeed as badly as you want to breathe, that's when you'll be successful. When you want it so bad that nothing's going to get in your way, that the story in your head, that the story that all your friends are trying to inundate you with, so that you're now going to live in a depression or whatever, right? When you get rid of all of that and you want something so badly that you'll change the way you live and you'll commit to it 100%, that's when you're going to be successful. I watched that video over 300 times going into real estate. It made a huge impact on the way I was thinking about things, on the way, my whole life leading up to that, I was very much not in a growth mindset, not always learning from other people. When I went to school, high school, I didn't own a backpack for those 4 years. I didn't read anything. I just said, I'm going to get through school so I can play sports.
Yeah.
Right. Now I wish I went back, and there would have been so many interesting things I could have engaged in.
I know. I agree
so
with that.
much reading I could have done during those years. I wish I played golf instead of baseball. Like, there's just so much I could have done differently. So that really changed the way I think. Like, if I really want this, if I want to back up all the words that I'm saying, then I've got to change everything about the way I'm doing it. And I need to learn from other people, and I need to really want it as bad as I want to breathe. So I would say Jim Rohn and Eric Thomas had the biggest initial impact. And they both have books and videos, and Jim Rohn less videos because he's 80s guy. But
Got it. Yeah, that's a great answer, great story. I'm going to check them both out. I've never heard of either one of them.
I'll send you that video, man.
Send me the video.
Especially
I'd like to see that.
A new agent, or not an agent for you, but a new employee or whoever, right? New sales, whatever it is. You send them that video. It's a 20-minute video, and it really does remove the bullshit story going on in your head.
Thank you. That's wonderful. I'd love to check that out. Would you, you described that whole experience of buying houses and improving them. And I know one of the questions we had talked about was a single experience or defining moment that sparked a game change. Was that it? Or would you say that your game changing experience?
No, when that was part of it, but that was the beginning of it, because when I made those mistakes and went through bankruptcy, it wasn't like, okay, I've got it. This is changing my life, the bankruptcy. It actually, for the 2 years following that, I went deeper into depression.
Yeah, like into a funk.
Completely. Yeah. And here's what, I kept replaying over and over and over and over and again in my head, what if I just waited an extra 2 years? I've got friends right now that waited for now the market to crash. They're the same age as me. They were in college. They weren't buying houses 19 to 21.
Right.
They're making all the right moves. What if I just, you've gambled at Mohegan Center or wherever, right? Casino. You ever go to a roulette table, play a certain number, lose all your money, and then the next spin that number hits, and you're like, if I just waited one more second, if I would have talked to so-and-so for another 30 seconds, I would have won, right? That's the worst thing you can do is live in regret.
Beat yourself up, live in regret. Yeah.
And so I did that for 2 years, and it wasn't until I realized that hating the job that I was working at and being in that environment and being shut off to people was hurting not only myself personally, but everybody around me to the degree that it was. That was when I had that game-changing moment, and I just kept dwelling on it. It was a Tuesday, at 11:30, I went up to my boss and said, I've got to go. This is crazy. They actually gave me 2 weeks paid. I took it because I'm not an idiot, but the decision had been made, and it's when things, for me, I had to really hit rock bottom.
Sure.
And listen, if I didn't make that change, my wife, who we've been together since we were 17, we've been together 18 years now, there would have been no reason for her to stay with me. Nobody would have wanted to be around me if I just kept living in that misery.
Correct. Yeah.
So,
wow, that's great. I think that you have learned from your mistakes. You've developed good behavior, learned behavior, and I think what may be interesting for people to know too, and why I like doing this podcast, is because we all go through. It's not like we don't wake up positive every day. No. It takes a lot of practice.
Nobody does either.
Nobody does. And, there's always the self-doubt. There's always the overthinking. There's always the, getting in your head. But it's how do you push through those things? And there are things that you have to want to do. But I have always been of the same mindset of you of asking people around me, setting up an advisory board when I started my business, when I had no customers, no money, but people around me who I respected. And one of them I was with yesterday, and he told, we did our offsite retreat, company retreat over at OneSource, and my advisory board member sat in the room and said, I want everybody to know I used to call Nick every morning at 7:30 to make sure he was out of bed his first 2 years in business, because it was brutal. And even though I knew I wanted to be in business and I knew I was passionate about the industry I was in, that was probably one of the hardest times of my life, because a lot of self-doubt, a lot of, did I make the right decision? What is everybody going to think? What happens if I fail? I mean, and Denny Stanek, who's a good friend and mentor, as I mentioned, he literally called me every day for 2 years just to make sure that I was doing what I had to do. So it takes people around you, and you have to will yourself sometimes. Yeah. So,
and I find the most successful people that I get around, there's one of the top agents in New York City, which it's very hard to be one of the top 10 agents in New York City, incredibly hard in Manhattan. He's actually in our mastermind, this guy, Josh Rubin. He just sold a $10 million apartment. Okay. Do the math on 5% of 10 million, right? And that's one of his sales. He does a couple $100 million a year, right? When he asks you a question, or any of these top producers that I've gotten around, when they ask you a question about something that's working in your business, they are like this for the answer. They are ready. They are focused. They're locked in, and they are going to pull that information out of you, because they're doing what I said at the beginning of this podcast. They're always finding a way to get a little bit better today. They're seeking the information. They are craving it at a ridiculous rate that the average producer just isn't doing. Right? That Art Williams, here's a great video. Art Williams, this is a video everybody should watch. It's on YouTube. It's from, I think, like 77 or something. But
Art Williams Just Do It video. I swear Nike built their whole business off of this guy's video. He was the founder of Prime America, which is a multi-billion-dollar insurance company. Art Williams says the difference between the average producer and the top producer, there really is no difference except a little bit more, right? Like 5%, whatever your thing is. Right. It's 5% more calls, 5% better morning routine, 5% more efficient in the way they conduct their calendar. It's just a little bit more. That's the difference between a $50,000 producer and a $500,000 producer. Absolutely.
It's not $450,000. It's like 5%.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That video is badass, dude.
Yeah, I gotta check that out. Yeah. Jeez. I'm just going to follow you around for like a week. Can I do that? How about that? All right. Well, I want to ask you one more question. I mean, and then we can both get about our days. And I appreciate the time that that you've spent here with me. Tell me about what's a goal for yourself that you want to accomplish in the next year. And I know you've got a lot of goals, but if you could share just one, what would that be?
In the next year, I want to. One thing I'm working on right now. So last year I had this thing where I posted out of 365 days, I posted 350 gym sessions. Okay. So that was kind of ridiculous, because I was like, 15 days off is plenty of time. Like, I won't get sick. I don't believe in holidays. Like 350 was kind of ridiculous. I ended up doing double days. But something that I think is super easy to control, and I started on October 1st of 2019 through the rest of the year, was 90 reading sessions in that 3-month period, right? Okay. And I know even if I get behind, 2 reading sessions, one in the morning, one at night on a weekend, is so easy to do. Yeah. And I really want to be committed to, on that level, teaching myself the skill of reading an actual book. And the way I've been reading is stopping myself on the words that I don't know, I don't recognize. I go to Google, I listen to the word, and I look up the definition. And I'm doing that to hopefully expand my vocabulary. For years I've had a basic vocabulary. And if I'm, I get on the radio, I do podcasts,
you speak publicly too.
Present to my team. I want to be better at that. Right. And I'm not a big believer in focusing a lot of your time on your weaknesses if they're tactical weaknesses. Mm-hmm. So tactical weaknesses would be like, for me, organizing a transaction in real estate, the transactional stuff, dealing with the inspection report, the attorney, blah, 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 right? All those transactional, tactical things that you can systemize.
Right.
That is something I always think you should bring in somebody better than you at.
To do it.
But that's a micro tactical weakness.
Mm-hmm.
A macro important weakness is my ability to communicate with people at a high level.
Right.
Okay. I am going to retain more stuff just naturally, the way I've always lived, listening to audiobook, consuming video, and that kind of stuff. But part of my macro ability to communicate is going to be improved if I have that reading skill. So I'm going to invest time in that weakness, but not the little micro weaknesses. If that makes any sense.
Yeah,
I'm breaking that down.
It does, yeah.
And so for the next year, I do want to, I'm not putting a book number on it, but I want this 90-day test to launch into a 2020 situation where I'm reading 365 reading sessions in that 365-day period. Mm-hmm. I want to get obsessed about emotional intelligence. I've been literally told by teachers and people around me my entire life that you do not have any empathy in your body, Byron. You lack it. It's impossible. I've actually been told it's impossible for you to get any of it. Wow. The people that know me really well, I've always been one of those kind of guys where you either love me or you don't. Mm-hmm. Right? You just don't love me that much. Even growing up, right? So like the people that love me are super passionate. They know that like there are, some real levels of empathy when you dig in, but I haven't communicated that well.
Got it.
I've been listening to Dare to Lead from Brene Brown. Mm-hmm. I've been digging into a lot of her stuff.
Yeah, me too, actually. She's incredible.
She's really
Learned
good.
a lot. Yeah.
So anything right now for me that's emotional intelligence that I can, and Brene, the nice thing about Brene Brown is she's one of the first people I've actually heard this from, where she says, empathy is a skill that you can build.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you want to build it, you will build it, and it will show through to other people. And the way she breaks down empathy is amazing because she's got this great sense of empathy, where at the same time she's holding people accountable and being very clear on her expectations of those around her.
Correct.
So she's not out there giving everybody what they want.
Right. She's not getting walked all over. She's not getting taken advantage of. She sets good boundaries, expectations. I've found that too, but it's a side that I feel, even for me, you kind of go through phases of your life, and I kind of went into this hardcore start up a business, push out all those other types of, even being artistic. I used to draw, I used to paint. I mean, just stuff that I laughed at for years, and it was like doing things that, listening to the people talk like Brene, talk about empathy and talk about caring for others and looking at alternate perspectives and doing things outside of what have become normal behavior for me over the last 6 or 7 years. It's kind of made me feel like a whole person. And I think that maybe what I'm hearing indirectly from you is you're a very multifaceted guy, a lot of demands on you, but you're looking at kind of rounding yourself out in a lot of different ways for a lot of different reasons, building your vocabulary, learning new soft skills, emotional intelligence, but also gaining more expertise in your career, getting your broker's license. I mean, there's a lot of things in all the things that you're describing here. And
it will open the door up to all of these new relationships.
Absolutely.
That weren't even possible by showing and improving different sides of myself individually. Mm-hmm. Hey, I want to meet that person.
Right. Absolutely.
And that's what we're looking for, is more relationships and impact and people and people that are going to bring an impact to us.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. No, I think I've enjoyed all your commentary here. I'm a follower, that when it comes to you. I think you're a natural born leader, but I think you work hard to set a good example. So I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on our show here. Hashtag Nick's Game Changer.
Nick's Game Changer.
And why don't you share maybe your Instagram handle or anything that you?
Anything is under my name, Byron Lazine. I'm literally the only Byron Lazine in America, so it's easy to find me. Yeah, Lazine, not a V. So, yeah, whether it's Instagram, if you're looking, Instagram DMs are a really easy place to get my attention right now because I'm reading every single DM. If you wanted to shoot me a message,
okay, cool.
that'd be the best
Very
place.
cool. And our last thing we can't forget. So we talk about coffee and what we're drinking here today. Cheers.
We've got a really special one.
A special one. So we searched far and wide, and in the Green Mountains of Vermont, in the form of a K-cup, we found this dark roast that we're having today. So hey, it's coffee. It works.
Absolutely,
it does the job, and we will see.
What's your favorite coffee right now of the moment?
Of the moment, I really like this. It's called John Wayne.
Really?
Coffee, but that's actually the roast. It's from TLC Coffee Roasters on the way to Newport. So it's as you're driving through URI on the right hand side, TLC Roasters. It's this John Wayne blend. I don't even know why they named it that.
Hot coffee, and it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. It's very smooth, but it's bold at the same time. I really am enjoying that. So
I'm a cappuccino guy, but I've been doing those cold brews at Starbucks.
Have you?
With the foam on top, because I like cappuccino.
So I saw like a
the foam
pumpkin one.
no, the pumpkin one's no good.
Okay.
There's a salted caramel cold brew, nitro cold brew maybe, and it's got the foam on top with if you like caramel, a little bit of caramel flavor there. That one's really, really good. I was doing that in the summer. Now I'm back to the cappuccino as the weather's.
Yeah, I'm a black coffee. Every now and then if I want to treat a little coconut milk, but it's basic. I don't know what to say.
I love it.
Yeah. So
hopefully on the next podcast, it won't be the Green Mountain.
We'll step our game up, but Green Mountain is reliable. We appreciate that.
And next time, if I ever get invited back on, now that I know this is an absolute thing, I'm bringing the coffee.
Okay, you can bring the coffee.
Yeah.
That's fair. Sounds good.
Awesome.
Thanks, Byron.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you, man.
You got it.